Hey, I'm Catherine Watson. I'm an elder care advisor and a life coach. And I work with families who are making those difficult and tough choices to possibly place their loved one. And today I was working with a sweet little lady. She was in her early 80s. Short, tiny little lady, full of life, I could tell, but I could also tell that there was the world just weighting down on her shoulders. And that just broke my heart. And so we talked a while about her husband. He's a big guy. He's completely wheelchair bound now. She cannot afford to have home care come in 24/7. So she's been making do with a few hours a week of extra help. But what's been happening is in the middle of the night, he'll fall out of bed and she can't physically get him back up. So she has to call the fire department, and they send the EMS guys out and they help him out back into bed. And this has happened several times in the last few weeks. And she says she can tell that they're getting a little frustrated with it, and she's getting frustrated with it. And it's no fun, I'm sure, for her husband either. And so we talked about placement, and we've gone down this road before, and she's gotten very close to placing him and then backed off because he got upset and she didn't want to upset him. And so I asked her this question today, and I want you to ask yourself this if you're in that situation. Is your loved one, and in her case, is your husband, getting the very best care he could possibly get? And a look of knowing came across her face, and she gulped and she said, "No, he isn't." And I said, "It isn't because you don't want to, it's because you just are not physically and emotionally capable of doing that. That's not where your training has been, and physically you can't do it." And she sighed for a moment. And we talked again about placement, and I talked about the fact that if she took the chance and placed her husband, even though he might get upset in the beginning, would he get better care? And she said, absolutely. The place we had picked out was perfect. It was a beautiful personal care home, and she knew he would get better care. And I said, so what's holding you back from giving him the best care that you can possibly get for him? And again, a look of knowing came across her face as she realized, I was right. He wasn't getting the best care, and though she loved him with all her heart and wanted to keep him comfortable and happy, she wasn't giving him the best care, and she couldn't provide that for him. I asked her again, I said, what would it feel like if you became the wife again? And so those of you who are listening, what would it feel like if you got to be the wife or the daughter-in-law or the sister or the child or the son again? What would that feel like instead of being the caregiver? Sometimes placement is the most humane and careful and conscious and loving thing that you can do for your loved one. I'm Catherine Watson. If you need help walking through this journey, I'd love to help you in any way that I can. Catherine Watson, your elder care advisor and life coach.